All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a classic microfable. On the surface, it's a really simple, almost comical little story about an illiterate villager who goes shopping. But if we look just a tiny bit deeper, it actually reveals some incredible truths about skill building, the danger of taking shortcuts, and the unseen mechanics of deep mentorship. We're going to break down this interaction to show you exactly why we so often confuse buying a tool with actually doing the work to acquire a skill. So, here's a question I want you to keep in the back of your mind as we go through this. Can the right tool fix a lack of skill? Now, stated plainly like that, it sounds like an obvious no, right? But this is actually the central conflict we face in almost every learning journey we take. We live in a world that is completely obsessed with quick fixes, life hacks, and premium gadgets. We're constantly asking ourselves if buying those expensive running shoes will automatically make us marathon runners, or if downloading that pricey software will finally make us novelists. Well, this fable tackles that exact conflict head-on. Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1, the magic spectacles myth. To really grasp how this guy gets it so wrong, we have to look at his baseline reality. The text establishes a plain fact right up front. Our villager is illiterate. He literally doesn't know how to read or write. But he's observant, he watches the people around him, and he notices a pattern. The people who are reading books and papers, well, they're often wearing spectacles. It is a perfectly accurate observation of his environment. But because he lacks any understanding of the actual mechanics of reading, he makes a massive, fateful, logical leap. And you can see exactly where things go off the rails. He thinks, if I have spectacles, I can also read like these people. I must go to town and buy a pair of spectacles for myself. This right here, this is the exact moment. His simple observation mutates into pure magical thinking. He mistakes correlation for causation. Because the tool is present when the skill is happening, he just assumes the tool itself has the magic to create the skill out of thin air. And so, his journey begins. And this brilliantly illustrates the severe disconnect at the heart of our story. On one side, you've got the villager's logic, that spectacles equal reading. He truly believes he's traveling to town to purchase a brand new capability. On the other side, we have the reality, that spectacles simply equals seeing better. The tool just enhances an existing physical function. It absolutely does not bestow a totally new intellectual capability. This huge gap between expectation and reality perfectly sets the stage for what happens next. Which brings us to Section 2, diagnosing the real problem. Now we shift our analytical focus entirely to the town's shopkeeper. This poor guy expects a normal, simple commercial transaction, but instead, he is forced to become an accidental mentor. And a true mentor doesn't just blindly transact, they actively observe. Look at the step-by-step diagnostic process. When the villager asks for reading spectacles, the shopkeeper starts with step 1, provide the tools. He hands over various pairs of glasses and a book. But when the villager rejects all of them as useless, the shopkeeper moves to step 2, observe behavior. He doesn't just push more products on him, he watches how the learner interacts with the environment. And that leads him straight to step 3, identify the root cause. Now, what's really interesting about this moment is the tiny detail of the doubtful look on the shopkeeper's face. The villager has tried pair after pair, declaring every single one broken or useless. And the shopkeeper pauses. That doubtful look is the exact hesitation where the mentor realizes, wait a minute, scratch that, the product isn't the problem here. He recognizes that the learner's feedback just doesn't match the reality of the tools he's provided. And then comes the punchline, the absolute physical comedy of the fable. The shopkeeper looks past the spectacles and looks at the book itself. It's upside down. No way, right? It's an absurd, glaring visual cue. But in the context of skill building, this is the crucial turning point. The mentor has just found the undeniable evidence he needs to properly diagnose the root cause of the failure. The problem isn't the hardware, it's the foundational operating system. So how does he handle it? Let's move to Section 3, the mentor's gentle correction. Let's see how this builds, because now that he knows the truth, the mentor faces a super delicate challenge. How on earth do you tell a customer who thinks he just needs the right glasses that he actually lacks a fundamental life skill? Notice the incredible care in this phrasing. Perhaps you don't know how to read. He doesn't yell, he doesn't mock, and he doesn't accuse. By starting with perhaps, he gives the villager a graceful way out. It is a completely non-accusatory, gentle probe designed to bring up the underlying issue without triggering any defensiveness. It's literally a masterclass in psychological safety from a small-town merchant. And hey, the gentle probe actually works. The villager offers an honest confession. No, I don't. But, and this is wild, look at what happens next. He immediately follows it up by persisting in his demand. I want to buy spectacles so that I can read like others. This is just staggering. Even after admitting he doesn't possess the skill, he still completely believes the tool will somehow provide it. It perfectly captures how incredibly difficult it is for any of us to let go of the magic tool fallacy. We want the shortcut so badly that we totally ignore our own logic. The text specifically notes here that the shopkeeper controlled his laughter with great difficulty, and honestly, who could blame him? But this is a vital moment of emotional intelligence. The situation is objectively hilarious. His natural physical reaction is to just crack up at the absurdity of the whole shebang, but he stifles it. Why? Because a good mentor knows that maintaining the learner's dignity is paramount. If he laughs, the villager walks away in shame, and absolutely no learning occurs. By holding it together, he keeps the environment constructive. So after controlling his laughter, the shopkeeper calls his customer ignorant. Now, in our modern, everyday vernacular, that stings. It sounds like a pretty grave insult. But we have to look at the definition in the context of this fable. Being ignorant simply means lacking knowledge or awareness of foundational skills. The shopkeeper isn't attacking the guy's character at all. He is just delivering a factual, objective diagnosis of his current state. You can't build a house without a foundation, and you can't read without knowing your letters. And that leads us to the final act. Section 4, the need for foundations. The shopkeeper has diagnosed the problem, he's managed the emotional reaction, and now he has to pivot from selling a physical product to delivering a necessary hard truth. He lays it all out clear as day. He explicitly dismantles the myth. Spectacles don't help to read or write. They only help you to see better. He separates the physical tool from the intellectual capability once and for all. And then he gives the ultimate, unavoidable directive. First of all, you must learn to read and write. He's telling the villager plain and simple, there are no shortcuts to the hard work of building a foundation. So the crucial point we need to take away from this spontaneous mentoring session boils down to these 3 things. Number 1, tools do not replace skills. A fancy keyboard isn't going to make you a great programmer. Number 2, seeing better is not reading. Enhancing a physical attribute doesn't spontaneously generate knowledge. And number 3, the absolute most important one of all, foundational work must come first. You have to do the unglamorous, difficult work of learning the basics before the advanced tools can be of any use to you whatsoever. I really want to leave you with this final thought. We might chuckle at the illiterate villager holding his book upside down, but honestly, his mindset is everywhere today. We are constantly looking for external purchases to solve our internal deficits of skill. So I'm going to ask you directly, look at your own goals right now. What spectacles are you trying to buy instead of just sitting down and doing the foundational work? Something to chew on. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I hope this helps you build those true foundations.